Shalom. First, I want to say, Call Halayim, Wahawad, La Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham Rahak Wadash. The abundance to the elder apostles, a great millstone who rule well and have taught us this truth. Honors and salutations to you, Akim, that's doing this work of truth and sincerity. I want to say salutations to you, Akim. Excuse me. This article I happened to stumble across. It's called Baptist News Global, and pretty much, the title itself, as you can see, it says the church is losing its way. It caught my attention, and this is actually in recent months, or November 9th wasn't that long ago. Maybe 2-3 months ago, give or take. So this is a recent poll or a recent data check about individuals leaving the so-called church, because that's a huge deal to these so-called Baptist pastors or whoever, whether they Church of God in Christ, Church of God. It all goes back to the Roman Catholic Church. It goes back to Roman Catholicism, and pretty much a lot of people are leaving these organizations because there's no truth in them. All right, there's no truth in them, and as a result, the Most High is causing, especially His people, more than anything, to come from among, all right, these so-called churches. And when I say His people, the elect of our people, because it's all about the elect. As it is written in Matthew 24, about the 30th verse, roughly, that the Lord is coming to gather His elect, all right, from the four corners of the earth. And so, as a result of that, you see, the nation of Israel, all right, you see the men of Israel coming out of these so-called church buildings, and even a few sisters, I'll just say that because it's true, but mainly the men, all right, the men of Israel, or the sons of Israel, are coming out of these so-called churches, which, really, the sons of Israel was never really truly with this anyway. All right, for the most part, it's a haven for single mothers with all these kids, and preying upon the simple and weak. Excuse me, because the woman is a weaker vessel. All right, but I want to read this precept because it's very important that I read this first. Let's go to the book of Acts 17, about the 24th verse. Yeah, cause it says, Acts 17 and 24, the Most High that made the world and all things therein, seeing that He is Lord of heaven and earth, dwelleth not in temples made with hands. So, a temple made with hands will be a so-called church building. All right. Now, you look up the word church. All right, let's look up the word church. All right, let's go to the word church. It's Matthew 16 and 18. We'll go there. Look up the word church on the Blue Letter Bible app.
Strong's G 1577, Ecclesia. Ecclesia.
Good. That's where you get the word ecclesia from. All right. It says, from a compound of ek. Ek, I think ek means out. Excuse me. Matter of fact, let's click on it. Ek. Yeah, it says out of, from, by, away from, ek. And other word, kaleo.
Strong's G 2564, Kaleo. Kaleo.
So that means to call aloud, uttering a loud voice, to invite, to call, to name, to by name, to give a name to receive the name of, receive as a name, to give some name to one, call his name, to be called. All right. And the other word, ek, means to call out. So it simply means to call out. All right. And who you're calling for? Well, when you go to the whole word, ecclesia, all right, it says a gathering of citizens called out from their homes into some public place, an assembly of the people convened at the public place of the council for the purpose of deliberating. The assembly of the Israelites. Hold on, let me read that again. Letter B, it says the assembly of the Israelites. See? Any gathering or throng of men assembled, those that said men assembled by chance, tumultuously, in a Christian sense, an assembly of Christians gathered for worship in a religious meeting. Well, we know who the Christians were according to the Bible. All right, according to Scripture, the Christians were the Jews. The Jews are Israelites. That was called Christians at Antioch. That's in the book of Acts. See? So, that's what the word church means. All right? And when you call out, you don't just say in a public place. Excuse me. Luke 14:23, the Lord said, go out into the, matter of fact, so Luke 14, start up a bit. Luke 14:23, it says, and the Lord said to the servant, go out into the highways and hedges. Where are highways and hedges at? Out in the public. You know, you got the streets, all right, which is known as streets, hedges. Matter of fact, bear with me 1 second. All right, Slocky, I'm back. I had to pause real quick to grab something. Let's go to highways. Or type in the word highway. It says main road from one town to another. Says apply to highways or main roads, whether in the country or town, especially one of the Roman roads. I'm sorry, which they did. They go out to the marketplace or the Goya. It says in more recent usage, it generally is the proper name of the street of a town which is built upon the highway. It was the principal street of the place, meaning like a downtown area, which you have most of the streets. You have a main street or some name of a elite Edomite. All right, which would be the main street of a downtown area. All right, now let's go from there. See what the blue letters say about the highway. Highway.
Strong's G 3598. Hadass. Hadass.
Okay, so it's Hadass. It's a property, a way, a traveled way, road, a traveler's way, journey, traveling. It says a course of conduct, a way of thinking, feeling, deciding. And we're going to look up hedges too. Hedges.
Strong's G 5418. Phragmas. Phragmas.
It's a hedge, a fence, that which separates, prevents two from coming together. You know, we're not going to stand in the middle of traffic, of course. You know, some idiots probably would think so, but no, we don't stand in the middle of traffic where, stopping traffic. No, we stand on in a public place that's away from traffic, but you got the corners, all right, or the sidewalks that is the hedge. All right. I believe it's the word. Did I type it in wrong? Marketplace. I believe it's precepts. Good. Let's go to Acts 16 to 19. But that's really what we are, where we're in. When we downtown on the main road, or one of the main roads, we're in the marketplace. So let's go to the marketplace. And I'm just doing this real quick. It says Agora. Well, I let it Strong's say it.
Strong's G58. Agara. Agara.
It says, in any assembly, especially of the people, the place of assembly, for public debating, for elections, trials, for buying and selling, for all kinds of business, marketplace, street. And that's what happens when you downtown in these cities, okay? When you go out to camp, you're usually in the downtown area on one of the busiest main streets or busiest streets downtown. Like I said, most cities have a street called Main Street, okay, or it's named after some Edomite that was on it or a part of the elite circle. All right, you may have a George Washington Boulevard, you may have a Thomas or Jefferson Boulevard, whatever. All right, the point is, you're gonna be, well, you're gonna find the truth rather out there. You're gonna see men of Israel, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, called out, all right, to our brethren to compel them to come in. Let's go from there to Proverbs. That's what we do. We go out and call out to, to call out to the elect, which we call the hopefully elect. Proverbs 1 and 20, wisdom crieth without, she uttereth her voice in the streets. She crieth in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates. In the city she uttered her words, saying. Now, you go there at the blue letter, Proverbs 1 to 20. All right, let's go down. It says chief place of concourse. Well, it says streets. So you know it says streets. Let's get chief place of concourse. And it's Ra'ash. Slaki. So I'm about to hit the button. Slaki. It's Ra'ash, if I'm pronouncing it right. It says head, top, summit, upper part, chief, total, sum, height, front, beginning, head of man, animals, top, tip, amount, height, chief, head of man, city, nation, place, family, priest, head, front, beginning, chief, choices, best, head, division, company, band, sum. So, which one would pertain to that precept would be, excuse me, of the city or place, or the chief place or chief part of the city. All right, so let's get into the article and read a little bit. And Lord willing, this video edifying too, by the way. I don't want to, hold you too long, but all you Akim out there that have a mind to listen. It says, the church is losing its way. Statistics from 2021 from across multiple Christian denominations reveal a decrease in church membership and active participation, according to the parachurch organization Exponential and the Pew Research Center. Yeah, so this is something that they observing as far as counting or observing the numbers of people that are leaving, all right, these different denominational Christian churches, okay? This decline can be attributed in large part to the increasing number of Americans who express no interest in organized religion. So, so basically, in other words, what they saying is they're tired of it. All right, they're tired of the flim flam filth. No, it's like no, they tired of being manipulated and being lied to because you know why? They see so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, so-called Native Americans out on the highways and edges, you know, the street corners of downtown areas, right, main place of concourse in the marketplace, right, proclaiming that we're the Israelites of the Bible, and we back everything up with Scripture. So you have, you know, especially these heathen scratching their heads like, what the hell? And you have Jake that had been so long blinded by this Christianity nonsense, which, you know, I agree with Elder Apostle Tahar's Plantation Christianity. You know, same thing that Jake was force fed on these slave plantations. You know, going to slavery, they forced Christianity upon all the tribes. All right, was it was a form of Roman Catholic, whether it's a Baptist, you know, whatever, Church of God in Christ, doesn't matter. All right, Seventh Day Adventist, Jehovah's Witness, whatever, you know. I'm about to say wickedness, but it really is, you know. It says these millions of peoples, these millions of people embrace the designation of none to reflect that on surveys and questionnaires when asked for their religious preference, they mark the box labeled none. Currently, 25% of Americans now identify themselves as nuns, as non-denominational. As award-winning journalist Dina Yellen explains, they they are ex-missionaries and military pilots, yoga instructors and computer programmers, mothers, fathers, professors, and political activists. Some left religion on a rocky, anguished path, stung by abuse or shunned by family. Well, a lot of child abuse go on. I'm sorry, within those so-called churches, man. You got the priests in there uh, 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 molesting little boys and little girls. Right? It doesn't matter what denomination it is. It's going on from the Catholic Church on down. That's for one. All right. Two, you know, the Israelites that come out of those places that call themselves Israelites now, they realize that they really are Israelites now. Whether it's done out of sincerity, whether it's because they actually believe, that's to be determined, you know. But the ones that believe, you know, because they are a part of a camp and they're doing the work in truth and sincerity. And you have some that just are Israelites. They know they're Israelites. They acknowledge they're Israelites. But that's it. That's it. All right. The ones that are sincere, you see them. All right. You see them. Uh, they out in the highways and hedges in season, out of season, which mainly, and I ain't trying to toot the horn, but hey, men that follow the real elder apostles, which are at Great Millstone, hey, Great Millstone known for doing the most work out of all the camps and being very diligent. You know, it's just the way it is. All right. It says others came to the realization after a lifetime of questions they couldn't shake. Which, that's another thing. People see us out on the highways and hedges, and they have questions. We answer their questions with the scriptures, right? So what you think that causes within their minds? Well, if they thinking like, if they answer our questions with the scriptures, well, let me go back to my pastor and ask him a question, see how he uh, answer me. Is he gonna give an answer according to scripture, or is he gonna give me an answer according to his own mind? And usually, the vast majority of the time, which is, I ain't gonna say 10 times out of 10, I'll just say 9 times out of 10 to be safe, they're gonna give you some old vain opinion of theirs instead of going to scripture and breaking the scripture down to you. That's how it works. And I want you to question their doctrine. They don't want you to question what they're trying to convey or convince you to believe. All right? And that's how it is. Excuse me. That's how it is in these places, because when you question, you'll quickly realize that they don't have the truth. I'll read this last paragraph, and I'm going to get to the scriptures. It says, but even those who used to be very active are changing their habits of church attendance and participation. In the recent B&G opinion piece, Rob Dyer, a Presbyterian pastor in Illinois, admits the church is realizing something not just about young adults, but also about people of all ages in our churches. They're not coming back. The super volunteers who used to carry 20 positions in the church are now looking to do just a few things. you know, that's a good thing, That's a good thing out there, all you Israelites that are waking up to this knowledge. Those of you that are sincere, that's a good thing, because you notice that those so-called church buildings are collapsing, man. Right? The whole Christianity thing, which I call nonsense, it's falling. It failed, man. How long have they been around? How many times have you seen churches being built and destroyed? All right. The old folks in there, that was, oh, there's such and such. That's Sister Johnson. She cooks. She's an usher. She's a lead usher on the usher board. She also works in the daycare. She does church cleanup. She's at Bible study, leading the way. There's always some disorderly stuff going on in those places. That's why I'm saying it this way, because this is what goes on. I would say when I was a child, I would love being on my grandmother's house, because I didn't have to go to those places, those church buildings, because I never liked going anywhere. It was just a whole demonic feeling. But when I would be here, I would be at my mom's place with my siblings. She would force me to go. And there was all kinds of stuff happening in there. All right, kids being molested, whether it was relatives or not, even within my own family. Anger me to this day that I hear some of the things that happened to some of people I knew in those places, how they was preyed upon, preyed upon by these predators that was in these so-called churches, whether they was the pastor, assistant pastor, assistant reverend, whatever you want to call them, deacons. It's a lot of homosexuality going on in those so-called churches, man. All right, it's just total demonic and total wickedness going on in those places, man. All right. It says they are not coming back. The super volunteers who used to carry 20 positions in the church are now looking to do just a few things. Our regular attenders are becoming semi-regular. Our fringe folks are fading away. What did it tell you? That tell you that the Lord is not dealing with the so-called church. All right. Let's go from there to 2nd Esdras. 2nd Esdras 6 in verse 28. 2nd Esdras 6 and 28, it says, as for faith, it shall flourish, corruption shall be overcome. And by the way, those places are corrupt, man. Like I'll just make an example of how corrupt they are. This is something I knew that was going on. Especially in the so-called black church, man. There's a lot of fighting going on. Fighting over who will be the next pastor when one pastor dies, all kind of nonsense, man. This is what goes on. I see this with my own eyes. I seen it firsthand as a little kid, man. Oh, by the way, um, I'm gonna make mention of this too. I'm gonna continue on. After this so-called church service, right? What are they doing? They got food, right? Some old nigga woman prepared her Sunday's best dinner, which is a spiral ham glazed in honey and pineapples on it, you know, with the cherry on top. Tell me I'm lying. Greens, it got all kind of ham hock and salt pork. Tell me I'm lying. Smoked ham shank. Come on, man. Tell me I'm lying, man. This place is, man, those places are corrupt, man. I'm telling you, brothers. It says, as for faith, it shall flourish, corruption shall be overcome, and the truth, which has which had been so long without fruit, shall be declared. And what do you think going on right now? The truth that was hidden for a time, but now the Most High have, been causing his men to publish his words in truth. Start with Abba Bivens, because I believe, according to faith, that Abba Bivens was Elijah in the reincarnation. I truly believe that. And then you fast forward, I can't look over Elder Yaquab, the High Priest Ariah, King Mashal, I can't overlook them. Guys that, we was taught of at the school in Connecticut or New York, with the One West, Can't forget about those great men. And then you have the elders we have today, which I wasn't in the camp back then when they came on YouTube. But since I've been, a part of, the fold, I've watched this truth flourish more and more. And from brothers' testimonies that that been in this ministry for a long time, a lot longer than I have. Double the years, triple the years I've been in this thing. They've been Asian in knowledge in this ministry. The truth is cutting a lot of bullshit that was propagated for so long through Esau's lies, especially nationality. Something they don't teach in those so-called church buildings. They don't teach you about who the children of Israel are. They don't teach you who the Edomites are, the Moabites, Ammonites, Hamites, Japhites, all the nations. They don't teach you about none of that stuff. They want you to believe that John 3:16 pertains to every living inhabitant on this earth. Every single people, every single nation, every single tongue, every single tongue, they want you to believe that this truth is for them, for everyone, and it's not. When you learn the truth, you realize that this is for only the nation of Israel. Start with the elect of the nation of Israel. On top of that, Isaiah 25:7, it says, and he will destroy this mountain, the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. See? What's the covering cast over all people? And the veil that's spread over all the nations. Their nationality, man. We all ain't no one family. What the hell? I mean, if you believe that, man, you'll believe anything, because you can look clear as day and see we are not treated as one family. Hell no. Those heathen don't like us, and we don't like them either. Those of us that know the truth. Alright? Not only know the truth, but, those of us that are part of the ministry. Alright? Us sincere or true worshipers. Okay? Those heathen don't mess with Jake, man. All right. That's why you know that old everyone's created equal and everybody's one big human family. That's all nonsense, man. All right. The Bible deals with nationalities, man. All right. Some that some that some that Esau and these so-called church buildings. All right. Something they don't teach you, man. All right. They don't teach you this in the so-called churches, man. Ephesians Ephesians 6:12, it says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." That's what we're going up against, because this whole veil that's been put over people, this whole covering cast, starts from the top elites of Esau. All right, they the ones that um, don't want the world to know everyone's true nationality according to the Bible, because especially Esau, because he know that there's a judgment written for him. And that's why you had the setup of these different so-called churches and organizations that keep the people blinded. See, that keep people blinded from knowing the truth and knowing who they really are, especially the nation of Israel. All right. So we're not going up against, you know, we're not going up against so-called pastors. They're really small fry when you look at it. They're really small fry. Though we all have our moments of debate with them, they're really small fry. These theologian guys that come at us. They got the vocab Malones, the James White Edomites. Even of Jake that come against us. The Geno Jennings of the world. They're really small fry, man. That's why they handle the way they handle with the scriptures, man. See, so from there, uh, let's go to the book. Matter of fact, hold on, Slack. I gotta grab some real quick. I'm back, Shalaki. I had to grab some. We'll go from there, because I had written down some precepts as well. Let's go to Jeremiah 23, because speaking about Jake, you Israelite pastors, so-called Negro, Latino, Native American pastors, you help Esau. Um, you help Esau further along his deception with these religious organizations, man. And then the ones of you that sit up in these uh, seats of being a pastor, all you're doing is scattering the Lord's flock. And this is what the Lord say about that. Jeremiah 23:1, it says, Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, saith Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. So woe means destruction and misery, man. It says, Therefore thus saith the Lord power of Israel against the pastors that feed my people, ye have scattered my flock and driven them away, and have not visited them. And that's true, because you look at Jake's condition. How has the so-called Christian church benefited us? It hasn't. Simple, short answer. It hasn't. It says, Therefore, thus said the Lord power of Israel against the pastors that feed my people. Ye have scattered my flock and driven them away, and have not visited them. Behold, I will visit upon you the evil of your doings, saith the Lord. And I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all countries whither I have driven them, and will bring them again to their folds, and they shall be fruitful and increase. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will raise unto David a righteous branch, and the king shall reign and prosper, and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth. Now, first and foremost, all right, Yahweh Shai, all right, is the author and finisher of our faith. So because of Yahweh Shai, all right, being the sacrifice for the nation of Israel, it's because of Yahweh Shai that we are able to, receive this knowledge. You see the remnant, all right, the remnant of Israel, all right, starting with Babylon, which is so-called America, then all these other countries. You see Israelites popping up out of nowhere. And you see the camps increasing because why? The Lord is bringing in His men into the fold. All right, He's bringing His elect, which we call the hopefully elect, all right, out of that wayward nonsense of this world, all right, out of the darkness of this world, and bringing them into the light, which is the knowledge, right, the true knowledge, which we get through the scriptures, man, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai, having men set up the teachers, all right. That's how Jake is, being fruitful and decreasing, man, on this side, all right. It says, verse 4, it says, I had skipped verse 4. I don't know how I skipped verse 4. It says, and I will set up shepherds over them, which shall feed them, and they shall fear no more, nor be dismayed, neither shall they be lacking, saith the Lord. And that's the point I wanted to drive home, because we have shepherds, all right, that feed us true knowledge, true wisdom, and understanding according to Scripture, all right. And we don't lack. Meaning what? We don't lack anything when it comes down to the ministry. We don't lack far as in knowing prophecy first and foremost. We don't lack as far as studying, going into the actual Hebrew, the Lashon Kodash, looking up Greek, looking up Latin, the meaning of words, etymology. We go on into the definition of words, man. So we have a full understanding, all right, of what we're reading and what we're learning. People act like we just blindly follow. They act like we blindly follow, the elder apostles, man. It's crazy. All right, but the Lord is guiding us by His word. Let's go from there. There's a precept I want to grab. And I forget where it was at. It just came to my mind. That's it. This is Romans 10. I'll start at 14. I'm going to read down. Because go and get that all at me. Romans 10 and 14, it says, how then shall they call on Him in whom they have not believed? How shall they believe in Him of whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher? Who talks about Yahweh Shai? And one of these pastors, Esau didn't teach us. Who taught us? Going all the way back to Abba Bivens. They the ones that, to the elder apostles we have today, they the ones that told us about Yahweh Shai. I didn't hear nothing about Yahweh Shai until this knowledge that we all have. I started watching videos on YouTube. I seen matter of fact, when I came to before I came to my first camp session, when I was watching brothers teach, I was on YouTube. I'm looking up, Israelite camps, and I didn't hear the name of the Most High until I stumbled upon it was uh, either GMS Chicago or GMS Detroit when they was Belly of Hell. That's when I heard the names Yahweh Yahweh Shai, and then the brother taught me that was with that camp later, like a couple weeks later or a few weeks later, about the names, which are very, 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 very important. All right. It says, verse 15, and how shall they preach except they be sent? You pastors ain't sent. The Heavenly Father ain't ordained you. Neither did his son, Yahweh Shai. He did not ordain you. Let's jump over there real quick. You went to some theologian school and you think you on some level. Because Esau, all right, ordained you to be a deceiver. Because he's a deceiver. All right. John 15 and 16. Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you that ye should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever ye shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it you. What's the Father's name to all you so-called pastors? What's his Son's name? Doesn't it say that in, what's that, Proverbs 30? Who had ascended or descended? Who got the winds in his fist? Roughly paraphrasing, it says, what is his name and what is his son's name if thou canst tell? We learned that the names of the Heavenly Father and the Son from so-called church, man. Let's go to back to Romans 10. Yeah, that's the truth, man. Romans 10 up at verse 15. And how shall they preach except they be sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of peace and bring glad tidings of good things. But they have not all obeyed the gospel. For Isaiah, which is Isaiah, said, Lord, who hath believed our report? So then faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of the Most High. When you go to these so-called churches, man, all it is a dressing contest. Who got on the best dress with the, with the matching accessory, jewelry, best makeup, and then the men who got the best suit on, nice haircut, smooth shaven face. This is all that goes on in there. Who's the best singer in there? Who's the best preacher? So-called preachers, because they're not real preachers. Right? So, I mean, ain't nothing fruitful in those places. In other words, ain't nothing fruitful, ain't nothing to learn from. Except for how not to serve the Lord. All right? Matter of fact, it's like it. It just tickled me, man. Matthew 15 and 7. This is Yahweh Shai. And this is what he said to the Israelites that was over in that region, on side of the earth, dwelling at Jerusalem and throughout Israel. He says, Matthew 15 and 7, ye hypocrites, well did Isaiah, which is Isaiah, prophesy of you, saying, this people draw nigh unto me with their mouth and honor me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. Yeah, and that's true, man. Ain't nothing but disorderly in those places, man. The word heart means your mind. Your mind is far removed from the Most High and the Son. Verse 9, but in vain they do worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. Because it ain't about what the Most High say. It's about what your pastor say. That's right. When you go to those so-called church buildings. Okay? That's what it's all about. When you rebuke somebody according to, to their wicked deeds, basically you rebuke them so they won't continue to go off. More in the so-called church, they come against you for that. All right, they come against you for that. Women speaking. They're supposed to be church. All right, but you got women in there talking, congregating like they're in a social setting, like in a social club or something, having a good old time. Skimpy dresses, ain't nothing but madness going up in those places, man. In this time that the Most High overthrow those places for good, which He is. You see it happening. You see it happening. All right. Let's get precept real quick. You see those places falling. I recently seen individuals or people that I knew that once were a part of those places. They don't even go no more because of what was the reason? It was, oh man, I know it too, Shalakia. It was oh, it was because of it was like um infidelity. Some kind of situation with infidelity was going on, and it was just it was a number of things. I know infidelity was one of them, like adultery. Um, but it was a couple of things that happened that caused it to shut down. But my I remember my mom would go to this one church building that was called The Rock, and they had this Edomite. Um, he closed it down, and they didn't understand why he closed it down, but it was because he couldn't generate enough people in there to get money because the things he had done to the place, as far as put money into it, he didn't get his return for the money he had put into it. First of all, he an Edomite, and then he was just trying to come down here to hustle Jake because what's in the city I live in is mainly Jake, overwhelmingly. In the 90 some percentile, like mid 90 percentile. I'm talking about all the tribes. Alright. They're trying to say, oh, this is a predominantly black city, which, I say the tents of Judah is it's the main portion. But you have those of us that descend from the northern tribes, we're here as well. Actually, it increased over the years from what I've seen. 2 Peter 2 and 2, it says, "But there were false prophets among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privily shall bring in damnable heresies, damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that bought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction." Now that happens within Israel, as far as the Israelites that know they're Israelites, they still bringing in damnable heresies. But then you have Jake out in the world, all right, that was set up to be false teachers as well in these so-called churches. Verse 2, "And many shall follow their pernicious ways." And it says, "By reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of." And that's the reason why when they see us out and they see the members coming out to congregate around us, what do? They speak evil against us or about us. All right. Creating this, they create this false narrative in one's mind. Excuse me. I'm have to my voice. Excuse me. But they're trying to create a false narrative in one's mind to deceive them to turn away from hearing the words of truth. Which, if the word don't take hold on them anyway, it was never meant for them to get it anyway. See? So, the Lord didn't want them anyway. As far as you Israelites that couldn't receive this word of truth. And that's what happens. All right, that's what happens. All right. Some of them have a zeal, but not according to knowledge. All right. Hosea chapter 4, verse 6, it says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power, I will also forget thy children." And this is for the ones of you that, the reason I read this precept right here is because you have individuals out there that see that we have the true knowledge, and they reject it. So the Lord's going to reject you, in other words. All right, He's going to reject you and forget your children. All right, and that's that's the main thing for our people. 2/3 of our people, they just reject knowledge because they look at the Bible as a white man's book. Never read it, or at least never read it with understanding, but yet they want to say it's a white man's book, regurgitating things they heard other people say. Yeah, Esau took this book during slavery and manipulated Jake using the book to pick scriptures out that make Jake docile and submit to his will or his rule. And that's all it was. The Most High gave us this book, all right, and it caused us to understand, all right. And it is written, let's get that. It says the Most High will make us of quick understanding, man. Excuse me. Most High say He will make us of quick understanding. Isaiah 11:3, it says, well, let's start up a bit. 11, it's like Isaiah 11:1, it says, "There shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots. And the spirit of Yahweh shall rest upon him, the spirit of wisdom and understanding, the spirit of counsel and might, the spirit of knowledge and of the fear of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua," which they don't teach you in those church buildings. You never heard about fearing the Most High in those places, man. They say you don't want to sin. Don't you sin, or the Lord be angry with you. Well, what is sin? The Bible tell you what sin is. 1 John 3 and 4. In order for one to know what sin is, he have to be taught what sin is. So we have an understanding what sin is. And then on top of that, can no one be saved by the law? It tells you that in the book of Romans. What's that, the 7th chapter? There's many other instances where Paul goes into about the law. It says by the law shall no flesh be saved. So you can't make it into the chariots by trying to keep the law. Now, do you rehearse the law? Yeah, of course. Judges 5 and 11, Romans 3 and 31. We establish the law. You know? But the most important thing is having faith in Yahweh Yahweh Shai. Alright? And that's what's going to get you through. That's what's going to cause you to rehearse the righteous acts. If you're going to be honest. Alright? Because faith leads you to doing the work. Because the scriptures say faith without works is dead. Because faith compel you to do the work. Faith compel you to put up videos of edification. Faith compel you to speak into the children of Israel, to bid them to the marriage, or compel them to come in, that the house of the Lord may be filled. That's what faith do. Faith calls you to go out here in season and out of season, doing this work. Faith keep you motivated to edify the elect, or we call it hopefully elect, right? Verse 3, here's the point. It says, "It shall make him of quick understanding in the fear of the Lord, Yahweh Shai, and he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, neither reprove after the hearing of his ears." So, the Lord will make us of a quick understanding, man. All right. It says, verse 4, But with righteousness shall he judge the poor and reprove with equity for the meek of the earth. And he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked. And the Lord put his words in the mouths of who? His servants, the prophets. Did not he say that? Where is it at? Second Esdras. Second Esdras 15:1. It says, "Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord." This is what the Lord told Esdras, man. So who puts the words in the prophet's mouth? The Lord do. Who made the prophets of quick understanding? Who made the teachers of quick understanding? Men of the Lord in general. Who made them of quick understanding? Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right. And you jakes out there that buck up against it. Man, look. You're not going against us, man. You're not fighting against us. You're fighting against the Most High. You're fighting against the Most High. Let's get another precept real quick. You're fighting against the Most High. You're not fighting against us. You may think you are. You're fighting against the Most High. All right, Matthew 10, in verse 40, it says, "He that receiveth you, receiveth me, and he that receiveth me, receiveth him that sent me." This is who we're teaching about Yahweh Shai. We're teaching the true gospel according to the scriptures, man. Right, the true gospel. So when we come out there, it's not that we speak of our own selves. All right, we're teaching you of our power, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, and we're teaching you the way of righteousness. because the Lord calls us to learn the way of righteousness from the elder apostles on down to us young brothers. Not anything to boast or brag about, but we've been taught the way of righteousness. So we passing it on down. All right? We're passing it on down. All right, to our neighbors, which are our fellow Israelites, man. Just you Jakes out there, buck up against this truth. Like I said, it's gonna lead to your own destruction. All right, it's gonna lead to your own destruction. All right, Matthew 3:8. It says, actually, let's go up. Because this is during the time of those Pharisees and Sadducees that were being wicked. All right, they were Israelites, man. They was in those top seats within Israel. All right, it says Matthew 3:7. It says, but when he saw many of the Pharisees and Sadducees come to his baptism, he said unto them, O generation of vipers, who had warned you to flee from the wrath to come? You have guys out there like that, right? Where they come up just to be, demons unto us, man. Just so they can try to pervert the gospel with their own feeble minds, man, because they don't like the way we teach. Because we, just like Yahweh Shah, we teach with authority, man. I mean, we're not some old whip, pussy men that's, speaking some high-pitched, faggoty voice. We out there just giving you the truth, raw and uncut, man. Verse 8, bring forth therefore fruits meet for repentance. So those of you that sincerely get it, well, you must be those fruits that are meet for repentance. The ones you can't get it, you're not. Simple as that. You're going to remain in those so-called church buildings, letting these fake pastors deceive you until the destruction comes. See? You speak all manner of evil against us, but we're trying to, we're trying to warn you of the danger that's coming. All right? We warn you of the destruction that's coming. All right? Because the Lord's going to destroy this place, man. Whether you believe it or not, the truth is the Lord is going to destroy this place. All right? Babylon the Great, so-called America, man. All right? Galatians 4:16. Am I therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth? That's the question that Paul posed. All right? When he went to Galatia. That's what applies today. Many of you Israelites, declare us as your enemy because we tell you the truth. We rebuke your wickedness. Not that we're perfect. We in this flesh too. We're not perfect. But we answered when the Most High called us, man. We chose to fear the Lord at the beginning and end of the day, That would make us different. And you did not. We watching out for our souls and your souls. Right? This is not just so that the Heavenly Father, will deliver us. You got to think about yourself first and foremost. When you can't live or die for anyone. All right. You do this work Well, Paul said, give diligence to make your calling and election sure. So you have to give diligence to make your own election and calling sure. That's every individual, every brother. Okay? And this is a race too. And the scriptures also speak about contending for the faith. You know? And that's why you see, that's why you see camps are steady increasing, through the spirit and power of Yahweh. You see more of the fold increasing, man. All right? Just because you declare us your enemy doesn't mean we're going to back down. All right? I preach something to back that up. Isaiah 30:20. And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers. See? Thine eyes shall see thy teachers, man. Verse 21, and thine ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, this is the way, walk ye in it, when you turn to the right hand and when you turn to the left. So, this is what we said. This is the way, walk ye in it. How many of it be that walk in the way? The answer is a few. The answer is a few. All right, a few. Matthew 7:14. It says, because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. See? It's a small number, man. When you think about the elect and then the 1/3, that's a small number compared to how many Israelites there are. All right, but this is a narrow path we go down. We must remain focused and continue to trust and believe in Yahweh Shai and not let anything sidetrack us from that. No matter who come up against us. And if you're a true believer in Yahweh Shai, you got to come away from individuals that are hindering your progress in the faith. All right. So with that, I gotta get going to camp. With that, I'm gonna say all praises and glory be unto Yahweh Shai, Bashem, Rakakodash. Till next time, Shalom.